Hey guys, let me just move you to the other screen. There we go. Alrighty, so here we go. Yeah, we got 5 people on board so far. And yeah, let's see what we got. So yeah, give me some feedback, guys. Can you see me okay? Can you hear me okay? It's kind of important considering that we're going to be talking about stuff. Yeah. I must say I don't see the chat window at all for some reason. Oh, there you go. Yeah, there it is. Alrighty. Yeah, let me know. Is the audio okay? Is the video okay? And that way we'll have another minute or so before we, dive in. Dragon Studio. Hey, how are you? Okay, streaming seems to be good. That's nice. Cool. We'll give it another second or so. Okay, cool. Right, guys. Well, as always, I'm very curious to hear where you guys are from. Yeah, let me know. So where are you watching from? What country? Hey, Constantine, how are you? Dragon Studio, you miss me. Okay, well, that's cool. I miss you too. Yeah. India, very cool. Namaste. I guess based on the time zone that it would kind of make sense for people from India to be on. Always cool. A lot of people from India watch my videos, so thank you so much. And yeah, as you guys saw in the title, what we're going to be talking about today is a 3D artist career. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is anything related to jobs, the different types of jobs, how to get hired in a job, freelance work compared to studio work, game work compared to movie work. How about education, college, no college, and so forth and so on, right? Hey, I see we got California online here. Good morning. And we have some people from Turkey as well. Hey, Ronnie, how are you? Yeah, so, get some questions in, guys. Oh, Israel, that's so awesome. I never had the opportunity to actually go to Israel, but one day yeah. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? Hey, we got some people from Denmark. At least I think that's Denmark. DK, England. There you go. Cool. So is Upwork good for freelancing? Let's start there. So for those of you who don't know, Upwork is a platform similar to something like People Per Hour or something like Fiverr, that kind of stuff, right? You create a portfolio or you create a profile, you explain what you do, people can kind of hire you on the spot to do jobs. Now, as a secondary income or something like that, it's okay. In my experience, it takes a lot of time and effort to maintain that network, and the amount of money you're making on that platform will not sustain a business. That said, it's better than nothing, right? It's a good way to get started. But ultimately, what you want is to build your own network and don't have to rely on parties that take a big chunk of your revenue, okay? Let's see, what else? What we got here? Ronnie, yeah, what's a typical time frame a client asks you to finish a project? Oh, that can be anything. That can be anything from 1 day to a month. It depends completely on what they're asking. Do they want a quick block out of a concept product, or do they want a complete scene, right? People from Russia, awesome. I've been to Russia, actually. I thought it was very cool. Malaysia, I've actually been to Malaysia as well. And if I recall correctly, I was in Kuala Lumpur and then I went to Penang. Was that what's called? Penang, I think so, yeah. Very, very awesome trip. Let's see, you don't reply me for Gmail. Oh, thank you so much. Well, the thing is, when it comes to email, guys, and I really do my best to keep up, but I get about 400 emails a day. A lot of them, I got 5 different email accounts. They're flying left and right, and I really try to keep up. So I apologize if I didn't reply to you. Hey, Alice from Germany. Guten Morgen, or good afternoon, I guess. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock. Fiverr, yeah, Fiverr is kind of similar. It's, again, secondary income wise, it's okay. It's definitely not something you want to do exclusively if that's how you want to pay the bills. Let's see, from Mumbai, what should I do to get a good FX job in Canada? Well, that is a very, very broad question. First of all, my question would be, why Canada? But obviously, there are a couple of generic things you can do. You need to make sure you are part of relevant forums where you know that people from Canada are there. Do your homework as to what are the major studios or where is the major industry located for FX in the region you want to work. You probably are going to look into, okay, how do I get to Canada? How do I get a work permit? Most likely you will need a working visa, which means you will need to find a company first that will sponsor you being in Canada, right? So it's a matter of doing your homework, finding out what companies are there, which companies work with external people and are willing to sponsor to begin with, and then try to establish a relationship with them. Yeah. Let's see, for a middle-aged person, how can they get a job as a fresher? I don't know what you consider to be middle-aged. In my experience, it kind of depends whether you're going to work for a studio or not. Freelance, I would say it's even an advantage that you are a bit older than 20, right? Starting as a fresher in a studio might be a bit more difficult, but it's certainly not impossible. Yeah, so how do you get a job like anyone else? It's a matter of creating a solid portfolio, making sure your work is visible to everyone. Clearly state in your portfolio what you're looking for. And I did a video last week on how you should set up a good portfolio. And then start to build your online presence. Post work, give professional feedback, build your network, and then go from there. Yeah. What to do before applying abroad as 3D modeler? What qualifications I need before applying for graduation? Okay, so this is basically 2 questions. What do you need to do before applying abroad as a 3D modeler? So basically applying for a job. What qualification do you need before applying for graduation? 2 very different things. One is studying, the other was working. In both cases, if you want to do that abroad, you will need to have either a student visa, if you want to study, or a work visa sponsored by a company that I just mentioned. Yeah. My opinion, what's the best way to get noticed in the industry? I think it is showing 2 things. One is showing your diversity, and 2 is, well, let's go with diversity first. Yeah, and 2 is showing your value. So 1, what do I mean by diversity? What I mean is, if you're working for a studio that is an independent studio and they create their own movies or games, they typically have a style, right? They would want you to be able to work in their style, but they also want you to bring your own unique style to the table. So, and your portfolio should reflect that, right? So make sure you develop a strong personal style, reflect that in your portfolio, and then show examples of other unique styles in the industry that you can mimic. So they know if they hire you, you will bring new things to the table, but you can also follow along with theirs. Second, from a value perspective, make sure that when it comes to value, you can add a lot more value to the company than simply doing what they ask. Look at their process, come up with creative ideas to make their process faster, better, more efficient, cheaper, all that kind of stuff. So show your diversity and show value. These are the 2 things I would do. Yeah. Let's see. Is graduation required to get a job abroad? No. Does it help? Sure. If you have a bachelor or master degrees, it will definitely not hurt, right? But that said, if you don't and your work shows that you are a solid 3D artist, it should not be a problem. Some companies have strict policies, but for the most part, it shouldn't be a problem. Okay. How do you gain an online presence for new artists? Well, how do you gain an online presence on anything, right? In this particular case, what you want to do is you want to showcase two things. You want to showcase you and you want to showcase your work. Now, in business terms, promoting your product is called marketing. Promoting your business is called public relations, right? So look at it this way. You want to promote your work, your portfolio, that's going to be your marketing, and you want to promote yourself as a 3D artist. That will be, you are your own business, right? That would be the PR part of it. Now, you need to create a consistent personal branding. Create a logo for yourself. Create a color theme for that logo. I mean, my logo is a red logo with MH in it, white, really simple, but a lot of people recognize it, right? And I use it everywhere. That's brand recognition. What's also very important when you are online and you're interacting with other people, whether they're fellow 3D artists or companies, doesn't matter. Be professional, be respectful, and always, always, always remember that people are watching you. Excuse my language, but some people will act as complete assholes online. And people will see this, but they won't mention it to you, but they will remember it forever, right? Don't do that. I've been in huge 3D forums where people would pass off their work, made by somebody else and say, hey, I did that, right? If you do that, you are basically killing your career because people will notice. You know, the world of 3D artists isn't that big. You may think it is, but it isn't, right? People that have done that, their chances of having a solid career in the 3D industry, they basically killed it right there and then. So be honest, be respectful, be professional, and understand that people that have been in the industry 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, they have gone through all these steps. They have something to tell and something to share. So respect that, right? Let's see, what else? Please send me your WhatsApp number. Well, I would love to, but I can't, because if I share my WhatsApp number, then I'm going to have 140,000 people sending messages. And I already have 400 emails a day as it is. So that is unfortunately impossible. Best platform for a freelancer. You're probably referring to something like I said, people per hour or something like that. For me, as a freelance artist, there are two main platforms you need to be. And I talked about it just now, marketing part, promoting your product, and then the PR part, promoting you as a business. The business part of things on LinkedIn, for sure, promoting you as an artist. Your portfolio on ArtStation, absolutely. So make sure you have these two, yeah? Let's see. I'm making sure that I don't skip a lot here. What should I do to get an internship as a 3D artist, Disney or Pixar? Okay, so first of all, I just released a new video about an hour ago, and I definitely advise you to look at that video, and I think it will answer your question, okay? Let's see, am I personally registered with the International Game Developers Association? No, and the reason why is because, first of all, I don't develop games. I work freelance, which means that I will collaborate with game developers and I will make things for them or work for them, but I will never individually drive anything like that because it doesn't fit my work setup. What I mainly do is medical props, medical simulations, scientific props, scientific simulations, toy development, personal consultancy, business consultancy, and I do freelance work on models, usually props for whatever they're going to be used for. Yeah. Let's see. For a new environment artist who wants to work for a gaming studio, what would you advise to include? Okay. Okay, like I said, show your own style and show their style. If you're targeting a specific company that you want to work for, and don't copy it, but try to incorporate that style that they use in something that is unique to you, right? It shows you're creative. It also shows that you can follow suit, right? Which is important. And then as far as the environment is concerned, that's basically an empty page where you can go completely creative, right? So if there are different element types that you're good at, try to combine them into one environment. If you can create, awesome water features, get that in there, mountains, trees, whatever. If you are doing urban environments, try to combine different types of urban settings. I don't know, Chinatown in LA, right? For example, that kind of thing. Okay, let's see what else. Now that you decided on making every piece of content free on YouTube, are we also able to watch all Q&A live streams? Yes. Let me talk about that for a second, because I know people are wondering, and I'm not going to talk about it too long, trust me, but just to explain. So last week, after 9 years almost, I decided to turn off all monetization. So no more ads on my videos, no more patrons, no more channel members, because I personally believe what's going on at YouTube and the way they're treating creators as far as monetization is concerned, I believe that to be not fair. I know that that's not your problem, that I, kind of killed my income completely. But I promised you guys that I would have my content free for you anyway, right? It's never been a situation where you had to pay for it. So now I kind of quit all of that. Does that mean that I don't appreciate your support? Oh, definitely it does. I spend 2 to 3 days a week making videos, right? And that means 2-3 days a week, I can't go out and work and make money. So no income. So if you do enjoy my videos and you still want to support me, you can just use my PayPal account, right? And I'll just put it in here and do with it whatever you want. Yes, no, maybe, yeah, and then we'll move on, okay? But to answer your question, so that's my PayPal. To answer the question, yes, all live streams will be available for you guys from now on, yeah? Let's see, what else? I scrolled too fast, looks like. Let's go back here. Okay. Did that one. I think I skipped one here. Commonly in companies or studios were hired as a 3D fresher. What will be the training will be given? Well, assuming you will receive a training, and that's a big assumption. It's completely depends on where you're going to work, right? Usually it's kind of a walk along. You will get simple tasks. You will work together with more senior artists, and you will basically look, listen, and learn. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to catch up a little bit, guys. Okay, talked about that. Do you know which company hires the most for internship? No, I do not, because the world is very big. So industry use Maya or I would say whether they use Maya or Blender, it depends. Up until this day, I would say Maya is still industry leader, combined with 3ds Max when it comes to modeling, right? Blender is in the mix as well. There are more companies moving towards Blender, but typically the smaller studios. Yeah, so do they use Maya? Yes, they do. Let's see. Actually, I wanted to know because I completed my course in India, so can I apply in job with that qualification, or will it be better? Well, the thing is this. There's no situation where you can or cannot apply apply. Anyone can apply. I mean, I can pick somebody off the street who never heard of 3D and they can still apply, right? So there's no law or rule or whatever that says you need to have a certain qualification. It's depending on the job, depending on the company. If they strictly want people with a certain qualification, they might ask for it. In my opinion, most studios don't, because they will cut out people that might be really, really good. So what they're interested in is your output. How good is your work? And to be honest, you can have somebody with a master's degree that doesn't produce great work, and you can have somebody with no degree at all that is fantastic. So there's no real saying you have this and this qualification, therefore you can, have more chances of getting hired. Let's see. Cute cartoon. Prime is saying, "What's my favorite animation series?" I don't know if you want to call it series. I would say what I'm most passionate about, for other reasons, is Toy Story. You could call that a series. The reason why is because when Toy Story 1 was released in 1995, that was basically for me a defining moment to say, I'm going to go full in on 3D. I was working with computers and animation at the same time, starting in 1983. But in 1995, when Toy Story was made, that was kind of a defining moment for me. Let's see. Can I make a YouTube video on how to make a portfolio better? Well, it's interesting because that's exactly what I did last week. So check my channel. What degree is needed? I just talked about that. As a 3D student, which is the best way to approach any 3D studio, or a way to make yourself show them that you are willing to go through thick and thin? Okay, well, there's kind of two ways, right? It's you inserting yourself into their world, or you bringing them into your world, right? Kind of the push and pull strategy, if you want. Let's say you are the best ever 3D artists, and you are making YouTube videos, and you're making social media content, and you got 10 million followers, and everybody's talking about you. You will get noticed, right? And they'll say, hey, who is this guy? And we need to check him out. That is usually not the most realistic approach, but it happens. More importantly is you need to make sure that you will be found and recognized and known. And I keep on repeating myself, but that's just a process. Make sure you have a solid portfolio on ArtStation, maintain it, make sure you explain your workflow, not just the pretty renders. And I did a video on that last week, how to set up your portfolio. In addition, create a solid LinkedIn profile for the business point of things. And then once these two are done, insert yourself into online networks like forums or whatnot, give professional feedback, be respectful, and in time, you will build a presence. People will start to recognize your name, will start to recognize your brand, will start to recognize your work. And then at some point, somebody's going to say, hey, I have a project, I'm looking for people. That's how you get the ball rolling, yeah? Let's see. Beginner environment artists can apply for a job abroad. Of course you can. I mean, is the chance high that a company in California will pay for you to come over from, let's say, India to the US, and they'll pay for your housing and schooling and all that as a fresher? No, that chance is very, very slim. But can you apply? And do you have other means to move to that country? If the only thing you need is a student visa or a work permit and they're willing to sponsor you, hey, why not? Let's see, are advertisement agency jobs in international, US-wise has a good work-life balance policy? Okay, Asia ad agencies, all right. So generally speaking, if you look at, and I've worked in the US a lot, if you look at working in the US, there's not as much job protection in the US as in other countries, yeah? Which means typically that people in the US work a lot. They work long days and they work a lot, and they have very little job security, right? In Europe, whole different thing. In Asia, whole different thing. So is it better in the US? Not necessarily. I mean, I, for one, noticed that in Asia, and Asia is really broad because not every country in Asia is the same. But if you are in Asia, typically cost of life is, in average, lower. Income is lower as well. In the US, if you're living in California, you're making a lot more money, but everything is super expensive, right? So you need to find a balance there, yeah? Let's see, can I make a tutorial on portfolio editing for environment? I did a video last week, yeah, and I didn't talk specifically about environments. Actually, I did a little bit, but I talked about how you need to set up your portfolio, right? What is the salary for a 3D artist? That's impossible to say, because is it part-time? Is it full-time? Are you on contract? What country do you live in? What type of work are you doing? What's your experience? How much skill do you have? And so on and so on, yeah? Where do you go to when you need complementing 3D artist skills to assist you with your work? Okay. So basically what you're saying is you're working on a project, but you need other people to help you. Where do you find these other people? Well, like I said, in these forums, right? Build your network. If I get a job proposal and I don't have time, I at least have 4, 5, 6 other people that I can call and say, hey, you know, my client needs something done. I don't have time. Can you do it for me? Right? So yeah, there you go. Let's see. This year I'm doing my internship. I'm so nervous. Well, don't be. I mean, it's really cool, and it's an opportunity for you to find out whether this is for you or not. And as an intern, nobody is going to expect you to kind of carry the company, right? It's not like the success or failure of the company rests on your shoulders. That said, though, it is a very cool learning environment. So don't be nervous. Just enjoy it. Yeah. Minimum salary of 3D artists. Again, impossible to say, but I'll give you an indication, right? Just a very rough indication. Let's say you're living in, I don't know, New York City. Yeah. Start off as a fresher. You might make $2,500, maybe less. Yeah. You might have the same job in Romania and make $600, right? You may have the same job in rural China and make $100. So what's the minimum salary? I don't know, $1. Okay, let's see, Upwork or Freelancer. Well, I assume you're talking about the website Freelancer, and I think they're kind of the same. I don't think one platform is better than the other. It's more related to what fits your work style the best. Yeah, I tend to lean more towards Freelancer though. What software do I use? All right, Maya, 3ds Max, Blender, ZBrush, 3D Code, Marmoset Toolbag, Topogon, Substance Painter, Substance Designer. I don't know. I counted them at some point. I think 25 different software packages, something like that. Is animating good or modeling? Which is best for building a career? Well, I mean, if you want to do one or the other to make money, my guess would be don't do either of them, right? Why I'm saying that is this: there are way easier ways to make money than in the 3D industry, and you need to be super, super passionate about it because it is a lot of work and it's very hard work, and you will continue to learn and study for the rest of your life, basically, right? So if it's purely about money, then do something else. If it's about working in the 3D industry, I mean, animators tend to make more money, right? But then again, it's way more difficult. So it's what you enjoy best, yeah? What to do for realistic and satisfied? Okay, well, Kuldeep, sorry, that is really off topic, so I'm going to skip that one if you don't mind. Can you please do tutorial waterfall from the hills in Maya? Again, very much off topic. Let's see. Good morning. Is it helpful to go for an internship right after graduating from an associate in animation? Is it helpful? Of course it's helpful. Absolutely. In India, the education system is poor. Well, I'm aware, but the thing is this, right? You're going to have countries where the living standards are way, way higher, right? So they got more money for computers and they got more money for software and for all that stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean that the education system is better. I know people that went to college in the US to study 3D, bachelor, master's, whatever. At the end of their study, they had a debt of something like $75,000, and they didn't learn anything. Because sometimes, and I'm being really careful here, sometimes these school systems are purely money machines, right? They prey on those who want to build a career. And then from there, they have this situation where they're, just paying the money for it. So let's see what else. Okay. Is it true that if you're a student, you have to prepare a piece of portfolio which is perfect? First of all, perfect is not a definition. That's a point of view, right? And when people ask you to do a portfolio piece, for whatever reason, it is because they want to see your strong points and your weak points. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, nobody's perfect, neither are you. When you make that portfolio piece, it will tell them something about how long you work on something. It will tell them something about your style. It will tell you something about your weak points and so on. Yeah. Do I have any Substance Alchemist? I do not. Sorry. Waiting for the college video where you talked about college or self-taught. At the end of the day, it's about what you know and where you find that information. I mean, a lot of people now will teach themselves watching YouTube videos, right? If I'm hiring somebody to do a job, I really don't care where they're from, what their background is. What I care about is, what they can do. Yeah. Let's see. Interns. That heavily depends. I would say, in my experience, usually, somewhere around $300-400 a month. Let's see. Yeah, I made several videos on critiquing portfolio, and the one I did last was actually last week, and I talked about it. And there you go. Okay, Canada Animation Studios name. I really don't know. I don't know all these companies by name. Sorry. What do I think about using an artist name instead of a real name? I wouldn't do that, to be honest. I wouldn't do that at all. First of all, when you are a 3D artist, it's about your art, not about you, right? When people have an artist name, it's usually because they are in the spotlight, right? And they're on the radio or on TV and they want a cool sounding name and whatever. It can be perceived as arrogant, which is something you don't want, because being a 3D artist is very much about collaborating with team members, right? Last thing you want is for people to think you're some kind of prima donna. So I personally would not do that. Let's see, we got Jesse Pinkman here. Cool, my hero. Let's see. Well, I'm modeling characters from a tutorial. The process may be a couple of weeks. Is that ordinary? Depends on the level, but yeah, I mean, if you make a character from scratch and you're starting, on a detailed character, 80 hours, 100 hours, that's not strange. Is being a generalist better than being a specialist when it comes to getting a job in a studio? There are more jobs for generalists than for specialists. Specialist jobs tend to pay more, but there's a lot more competition. And when there's no need for specialists, you're out of a job. So there you go. There are many 3D channels on Discord where you can ask questions and get answers almost instantly. Yep, true. Okay, let's see. Portfolio on DeviantArt. That you see a lot of portfolios there. I would say a little bit less on the 3D part. Most 3D artists are on ArtStation. It wouldn't hurt really, I would say, but let's see. Hey Mike, I love your tutorials. Saw your last live and it was awesome. I'm a junior 3D artist. What advice would you give to tackle some work pressure? Okay, so I don't know if I mentioned this. I have a 10-part video series on my channel, and it's all about becoming a freelance 3D artist. Now, you're probably saying, well, I'm not going to be a freelance artist. It doesn't matter because it talks about everything related to the 3D job. And that includes time management, it includes stress management. I actually, 2 weeks ago, did a video on how not to, quote unquote, lose it as a 3D artist. So check my channel. I'm sure you will find something suitable. Yeah. Let's see. How much time does modeling take? That depends on what you're doing. Finally found a job. Vincenzo, that is awesome. Really, really cool. Congratulations. Let's see. Yes, you do foreign production houses allow internships? They sometimes do. Yep. First of all, thank you for guiding artists and sharing knowledge. More power to you. Thank you so much, Edison. Is it possible to learn Maya in 8 months, starting from very basics, 5 to 6 hours a day? Sure. I think I heard you were saying you intended to stop or change portfolio reviews. I really like your previous video. Are there, you mean the previous video on the portfolio review or the video I put up today? I will be doing more portfolio reviews. The reason why I stopped is because I had so many. I was literally backtracking 8 to 10 months, right? I had hundreds and I can only do so many, right? Let's see, that's off topic. Yeah, Maya videos, of course, that's my go-to. Hi, I think the main point of learning is to stay consistent no matter how much time education takes. Just take small steps in your goal each day and don't rush and think that, oh, I must be faster. 100% true. What Anton is saying is true, and I said this in other live streams as well. The only person you're competing with is you. Don't look at what other people are doing, right? You might never be the best in the world because there's only one, right? But that means that there is still a lot of opportunity for the rest of us. So you need to be better than you were yesterday. That's all there's to it. So keep on working, keep on growing, and you'll be fine. Let's see. I think I need help. I want to get hired, but I don't have 2 years work experience related to game development, but I have the skills for the job. What is your opinion? Okay, well, the thing is this. When you have an interview, and again, look at that 10-part video that I made about freelancing. When you have an interview, what they're looking for is value. And it's really as simple as that, right? They're paying you money, they want something in return. And what you give them in return should have more value than the money they're paying you. That's the whole idea, right? Now, if your work doesn't bring that value, then find other ways to bring that value. Maybe you work super fast. Maybe you have all sorts of super creative ideas to work more efficient and so forth and so on. Find a way to find whatever is valuable to them, right? What people tend to do in interviews is talk about themselves. What you're doing is a sales process. So you are basically selling your skills. So you need to find out why they find your skills valuable. Why do they need a 3D artist? What problem will that fix? That's the value proposition. Once you know that, that's what you start talking about. So you don't talk about you talk about how you can fix their problem. Let's see. What else? Okay, question about internships, Disney and Pixar and so forth. So please check the video I just put up a few hours ago. It talks about that. How about a production house in India or cheap labor country to make movie and release on big screen and bag heavy money? Think it's possible. Anything's possible. But again, it sounds like you're in the industry to make a lot of money. And I said before, that is not the best way to go about it. How much time it takes to build a portfolio from modeling texturing artists? Well, making the actual portfolio is not a problem. It's developing the skills to be able to do it. And I would say your first ever portfolio, let's say you start on day one, within 2 years, you should have a pretty solid portfolio. Last year, student of animation, and I'm good at 3D modeling. So should I apply for internships or directly for a job? I think going for an internship usually leads to a job, and it's kind of it lowers the obstacles. You're more likely to get hired as an intern than as a as an employee, but you have more opportunity to check out what's going on there and prove your worth. And for a lot of companies, hiring an intern is the way to observe people before they actually make them an offer. What do you think? Unreal? Yeah, I'm not a real Unreal 5 guy. I don't really have an opinion on it. Sorry. Let's see what else. Thank you. I have a poor PC, and as we know, modeling and rendering needs a good PC. How can I earn money with my poor PC? Okay, so a lot of people, rightfully so, think that, okay, I'm a 3D artist, so I need to have a super expensive PC and all that, right? Now, here is my go-to example. You probably saw the movie Blair Witch Project at some point, yeah? Blair Witch Project is a low budget movie. Very, very little amount of money spent on it. However, it was a huge hit. The thing is, people will forgive you for low quality if the story you are telling is amazing. On the other hand, if you have a $200 million movie and the story is crap, everybody will hate it, right? So if you don't have the super fast computer and so forth, then keep your work simple, but make sure that the story it's telling is way more stronger, yeah? Study second, yes, this will be available on the channel, so you can watch it anytime you want. Can I share my experience in the industry and how it changed over time? Again, that 10-part video series, yeah, all about what's happening in the industry, so check that out. Lunatic Sunspot saying, you sent me an email, didn't get a response. Sorry about that. Like I said before, I get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails every day. It's completely impossible for me. I would have to have 20 hours a day just to answer my email. So I try to do all of them, but if I didn't get to it, I'm really sorry. Let's see. That's because I'm only used to patch modeling on polygons only. Our college did not go through NURBS. Okay. Very, very few people that I know work in NURBS. There's a reason why you can hardly find any of those touch. What if you like to build many different things very fast, build a lot of prototypes, not super polished thing? Yeah, what about it? If you want to do that, do that. I mean, that's more in the realm of concept art, but it's fine. Let's see. It gave 3 testing interviews for look dev and lighting jobs. Interesting experience. Oh, I bet it was. Let's see. Again, off topic. Do you have any tutorials on Unreal Engine? Literally one. I think I did one tutorial on that at some point. Should you reuse models in different renders that you make? Well, there's a difference between reusing models and building an asset database. So for example, if I need to model a 3D room, I will have saved models over time where I can pick and choose from tables and chairs and windows and doors. And these are things that I modeled at some point, and I can just drag them into my scene and work much faster. And every studio in the world does that, and every artist in the world does that. How to proceed through learning modeling and then going to sculpting, as I'm from a country where there is not very good job opportunities. I'm not sure what one has to do with the other, but apparently you have a computer and you have internet, so you also have access to YouTube, and I would just follow tutorials. Let's see, we'll go on a few more minutes, guys. I have a call at 2 that I need to prepare for, so let's do another 5 minutes or so, right? When I started my design career, I had a very old computers. Many years have passed. I work on an iMac. It's not about the computer, it's about how you use it. Absolutely true. You can have a $50,000 computer and your work can be crap, or you can have a $500 laptop and your work can be amazing. Can you tell me how to use diffuse? Okay, that's off topic. Sorry about that. Should you build your own 3D model library? I would, yeah. And what question do you want us to ask if we could gain something that pros are looking for? Okay, yeah. So I can give you 2 tips. One, if you're an animator, then focus on micro expressions. A lot of animators look at big gestures, so the jumping and all that kind of stuff. Let's call it the Spider-Man or the Hulk stuff, yeah? What's really hot right now is micro expressions, the ability to animate very small and very tiny movements, a twitch of an eye, that kind of thing, yeah? From a modeling standpoint, flexibility, the flexibility to switch from one style to the other, the flexibility to go from low poly to high poly, and so forth and so on, yeah? Let's see. I'll do one more question, guys, and then I really need to get going. Yeah. So what's the best software for sculpt modeling? That would be ZBrush. You can have $50,000 PC and be a lazy ass without any will to learn. Yeah, exactly. Well, things I do to make my workflow faster. Well, first is building my own asset, right? Or my own asset database. Second is to consistently follow a certain workflow, which makes things way faster. King Cosmo is saying how to make an appointment with you for a business consultation. You drop me an email. So you can send an email to that address, or you can go to mhtutorials.com and you'll find information there. And then, yeah, we'll take it from there. Okay, guys, one more question. One more. So let's see what we got. Let's see who pops up first. Going once. Going twice. Let's see. How can you measure your progress? How can you give me a push and if some? Okay. Well, Ahmed is saying, how can I get external motivation, I guess. I think that's the question here. Well, that's why it's important to be in a network. If you get feedback from people on your work and you know they're professional and respectful and honest, and I'm not talking about these clowns online that dump over everybody because they can't, a model, a cube themselves. I'm talking about people and you have, you've seen their work, you know what they're talking about. Ask them for their honest feedback, right? And then learn from that feedback. That's what I would do, all right? Okay, guys, that's it for me. Like I said, somewhere halfway through the session, this session will stay available on my channel. It's not going to go shut anymore. I got rid of everything, the Patreon channel and all that. But if you guys did enjoy it and you want to buy me a cup of coffee or something, hermesmike@hotmail.com. That's my PayPal, okay? Thank you guys so much. Drop me an email if you got any additional questions, and have a great day and stay awesome, right? Thank you guys. Bye.